Good morning. I would like to show you today a little bit about transport industry, what is going on right now in the world of transport. So I found a little bit about our European issues regarding transport, what is going on right now on the roads, and what is interesting, how is the industry, in what shape it is actually right now. This is our first stream after the long weekend of May. I'm not sure how long it will take, but I hope it will be interesting for you. So let's take a look at our topics today. I'm going to tell you about new way of collecting fines from foreign drivers, a project of the from the EU. I will also tell you about Eurozone's industrial output in France and Germany. What's more, I have to tell you something about more stars in London. It is also quite interesting for you, I'm sure. I will also talk about the industry, what is going on right now. I mean, the growth in this delivery segment and decline in trucks. Also, intermodal transport. I have something about intermodal transport. Yes, and also about the shortage of people willing to work in the transport industry, and also about the thing that some companies are reducing staff, especially in Poland right now, and I'm going to tell you why. What do I have for you? Also, traffic restrictions in Austria, something about major German drugstore chooses PSI to manage new omni-channel warehouse in Hungary, and a little bit about Ukraine. So take a look at what I'm going to show you right now. So we'll start. Maybe we will start with the Ukraine. I think it is interesting for me. I hope also for you. Wait a second. I need to do something here. As Ukraine eyes closer economic ties with the EU, how is its logistics sector progressing? The cost of rebuilding Ukraine over the next decade may amount to $486 billion, the World Bank estimates. Despite the difficulties resulting from the war situation, the Ukrainian economy recorded growth of 5% in 2023. This is proof of the country's resilience and economic potential. Yeah, it definitely has got a big potential. This is a big country with soil, people willing to work, and willing to build their country. I think so. Let's take a look at the article. We should start a substantive discussion now on Ukraine's integration with the EU single market. Said Maciej Witucki, president of the Leviathan Confederation, during April's Ukraine's Future Summit, a conference in Brussels covering Ukraine's reconstructions and the possibilities its EU integration could bring. The General Director's opinion was also shared by Katerina Glaskova from the Union of Ukraine Entrepreneurs, who claims that not only Ukraine needs the EU, but EU also needs Ukraine. In the EU, there is a great demand for military technologies, IT services, agri-food products, pharmaceutical products, and valuable rare earth metals, which Ukraine can provide. Yeah, that's true. After Ukraine's victory, the price of entering our market will be much higher, so I encourage you to invest now. From June 2023, the European Commission is increasing Ukraine's integration with the EU single market using the Connecting Europe facility, financial program to finance infrastructure, and agreement on the association of Ukraine with the program was also signed in Lviv. So it was the whole article is about what Ukraine can provide and what input can it have. So yeah. Now, what changes have occurred to Ukraine's logistic after 2 years of war? This is quite interesting. So I would like to take a look at it. According to a study by the European Business Association, one of the biggest challenges facing Ukrainian and European companies is the blockade of free commercial navigation. This is reflected in the fact that the maritime transport sector has suffered the most from the war. Before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, 60% of export and import operations were carried out by sea. Ships transported 90% of agricultural products, according to data from the Ukraine Agrarian Confederation. Around 8 million tons of Ukraine grains were transported through Black Sea terminals each month. So now it's going. It is not going across the Black Sea through Black Sea. A great success in July 2022 was reaching a compromise in the form of the grain agreement, which was valid for a year. So it is not right now. In 2023, the volume of transport of food products of the Black Sea roads even near pre-war levels. Yes. So this is quite a big issue right now, the lack of the Black Sea. Yeah. Okay, so this is quite an interesting and long article. I won't tell you the whole story. You can take a look on it at transinfo.com. Trans.info. It is also about Ukrainian trucks on European tracks. At the beginning of December, Ukraine's carried out I don't know how to read it actually. I speak Russian, not Ukrainian. They are similar languages, but I don't know what does it mean actually. Carried out a pilot project involving the transport of trucks on railway platforms. This year, we carried out a test transport of a semi-trailer from Ukraine to Sławków in Poland, and after technical analysis, we decided to take up the challenges of searching for even more effective solutions. Travel time from the border station was approximately 8 hours. After completing all customs activities, the cars arrived on the station front ramp. According to the company's announcement, the target transport countries for cars are Germany, Sweden, and Lithuania. The company announced that the project will contribute not only to strengthening its position and on the logistic market, but also to building an efficient supply chain, but also says that further development of this project depends on the assessment of the test transport. Okay. Then we have info about freight limitations, expensive road transport, and so on and so on. You can take a look. Quite a big and interesting article. Okay, what do we have next? A new way of collecting fines from foreign drivers, a project from the EU. The European Union is preparing new regulations on the international punishment of drivers. The change in regulations is intended to increase the collection of fines, and its introduction may be widely reported in the transport industry. The project, already approved by the European Parliament, is to introduce a new mechanism for collecting fines from foreign drivers. Each EU country where an offence was registered would be given 11 months to transfer full documentation to the driver's country of residence. This country of residence would then become responsible for collecting the penalty and transferring it to the country making the request, having 2 months to implement the appropriate procedure. According to the project in question, the above mechanism would apply to fines exceeding 70 euros. Penalties mainly include speeding, running a red light, driving under the influence of alcohol, parking in prohibited places, or overtaking in a prohibited manner. After approval of the EU Parliament, the draft new regulations will still need to be voted on by the Council of the European Union, which is composed of ministers from member states. Therefore, it is difficult to determine what the rules in questions may enter into force. But we will wait for the output. Okay. The next case is about more stairs in London. Polish carriers, but not also Polish. It is from Polish website, so that's why it's about Polish drivers. But all drivers will have to take care of the equipment of their fleets. Last September, the long-awaited final version of the regulations regarding the direct visibility standard, Progressive Safe System, PSS, has come to light. This regulation will apply to commercial vehicles traveling to and from London from October 2024, including those from abroad. According to statistics published by the UK government, international freight transport is as follows. Overseas registered trucks transporting cargo to and from the UK transported a total of 30.6 million tons, of which an impressive 20.2 million tons were imported into the United Kingdom. It is worth noting that Polish trucks played a key role in this dynamic, transporting a total of 8.1 million tons of cargo, which is by far the largest amount among other countries. This number highlights Poland's important role in the international trade in goods. Polish registered vehicles exported from the UK increased their share to 28% of total foreign exports and accounted for the largest share of foreign exports every year since 2010. When imported into the UK, vehicles registered in Poland also accounted for the largest share, increasing from 20 to 26 between 2010 and 2021. A significant number of Polish trucks will travel around London on their journey, so it is important that these vehicles comply with the Progressive Safe System requirements. What are the key changes? From October 2024, the minimum star rating required for direct vision standard will increase from 1 to 3. This means that vehicles that don't achieve a star rating will need to be fitted with additional safety equipment to be approved. Previously, an additional equipment permit was called a secure permit. From October 2024, this will also change and will be known as the Progressive Security System. It requires the latest technical developments, which may mean some owners will need to install new systems in their vehicles. Collision avoidance technology. Previous safety approvals required obstacle detection system in the immediate vicinity of the vehicle. The progressive safe system requires technology that predicts collisions based on the vehicle's trajectory and the vulnerable road user to determine whether a collision is imminent. Additionally, there is a specific alarm strategy that informs the driver of the seriousness of the situation. When the vehicle and move in the same direction on parallel paths, they can continue driving for a long time, even if they are close to each other. Front detection. PSS also requires a sensor system at the front. General safety regulations. Yes, it's also about it is something about the document. I won't read it right now. You can find it on etransport.pl. But yes, please remember about the stars in London and the new regulations. Wait a second. Europe is getting intermodal transport back on track. Together with Guretruck, we explain why intermodal freight transport is gaining importance, and it's currently a topic of international discussion. Intensive work on the Trans-European Transport network, changes in the directive on combined transport. 3 new transshipment terminals in Poland launched last year, and plans to build a railway line from Poland to Lviv. These are just some of the elements of the EU climate policy and national decisions for the development of intermodal transport. Why are EU officials working on an integrated rail network? The reason is, according to calculations by the EU Council, that rail transport in the EU, accounts for only 1.9% of energy consumption and only 0.4% of greenhouse gas emissions from this means of transport. Railways are ecological and can be game changer for the transport of goods in the future. Therefore, 9 core network corridors are to be created, connecting railways with roads, sea roads, and inland waterways, as well as ports and airports across the Union. Changes that support the transport of freight transport to more ecological means of transport are the goal, and the direction chosen by the TSL industry also in Poland. Okay, let's take a look here. According to the data from the Polish Development Fund of January 2024, road transport dominated in the transport of goods in Poland. It was 49%. The railway is second place with a 41 share. At the time, in December last year, the weight of goods transported by trains was 6.5% less than a year earlier. In Poland, which is third in terms of the length of railway lines in the EU. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Over 80,000 were transported throughout 2022. Tons of cargo in the international transport. In turn, there is a potential for freight transport to become more sustainable and ultimately to cooperate better with road carriers, and further investments are heading in the direction. It is worth mentioning that in the years 2014 and 20, the EU allocated over 1.1 billion euro to support intermodality project, and further EU initiatives are planned. The intensity of work on strengthening intermodality in Europe is also evidenced by the fact that Germany and Denmark have already started building a railway tunnel connecting Scandinavia with continental Europe. That's quite interesting also. Yes, there's a shortage of people willing to work, another topic, in transport industry, as many companies are reducing staff. In the first quarter this year, the tonnage of road transport decreased by 1.7% compared to the same period last year, up to 67.6 million tons. Much was particularly poor when the results were 3.8% worse than last year. The office calculates that total cargo transport decreased by 5%, up to 133 million tons. Railways decreased by 7% in the first quarter, and in March by nearly 12%, up to 18 million tons. Low demand for transport services forced entrepreneurs to reduce fleets and employment. The process of reducing driver employment has already begun. A year ago, companies could not even think about restructuring because drivers didn't agree to salary adjustment. In a company with over 100 drivers, half would quit their job, and today only 7 did not agree to the new employment conditions. So Guretruck also limited the number of drivers trained in Central Asian countries. According to the Manpower Group Employment Outlook report from April to June this year, as many as 34% companies from the TSL industry announced the need to reduce employment. The situation is serious, and specific solutions are needed. There are even people willing to take the place of city bus drivers, when in recent years cities have had great problems finding people willing to do this job. In 2024, an increase in the minimum wage came into force in Poland, and the second one is planned for July, which will result in an increase in the forecast average salary. So the situation is changing. The market is changing. We will see. I think that's it for today. I will also only talk a little bit about new restrictions in Austria. This is the news from today from trans.info. Salzburg bans congestion and announces A10 closures. The Austrian region of Salzburg is taking a unique approach, banning traffic jams on a key motorway. Additionally, roadworks are planned on the same motorway, further complicating travel. So please be aware. Here you've got all the information. On Monday, authorities of Salzburg issued an ordinance prohibiting traffic jams on the Tauern motorway. This ban is in effect until June the 30th, 2024. So when traveling towards Salzburg, drivers are prohibited from entering the L229 Affenwenger Landenstraße. Here I've got exemptions. Granted to vehicle. They are granted to vehicle with destination within the Salzburg region. And you have here additional restrictions. 8-10 closures in May also. So I would like to thank you for the attention. We will see each other on Monday at 12. So I would like to wish you a nice weekend and see you soon. Bye. Thank you for the attention.